Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sashrik Rajesh. Welcome back to another trade review where we review our trades on where we went right, where we went wrong, and what we can do better next time in the market. So this was a Sensex trade which we took on 5th of Jan 2024 and we made almost 1,09,000 from the trade. This was a little bit interesting trade for me and this was a little bit different way of trading for me because I entered two positions and I had to manage those two positions. So I feel that this will be one of the good videos in this trade review series. So stick around till the end and I'll be discussing few important points on what I learned from this trade at the end of the video in the outro. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet and like this video. I'll see you guys at the outro. Alright guys, so let's get started with this trade review. We made almost 1,09,000 by trading Sensex on 5th Jan 2024, which is the expiry for Sensex. So let's get started with our logic. Before that, these are my orders and this is the PNL. And if you guys want to check out the verified PNL link, it's in the description below, so you guys can go check that out. So before moving into the orders and the logic for my trade, let's move into why I took this trade and what was my plan before the trading session. So these were the levels which I marked. Just ignore the white lines for now because those are the strike prices in which I took the trade. But yeah, so these are the levels which I drew, the blue zone and the gray zones. And the blue line is the day the trade took place. So I always create a trading plan before entering any trade, just maybe one day before after I draw my levels. So let's just go through the trading plan. And this was the trading plan which I created on the day of the trade. And these were the same levels. I didn't change anything. So the price action bias which I had was I wasn't sure about the bias at all. Why? Because the previous day, if you guys can see here, the market took support from this level. And then the market rallied to the upside till here. But if you check a little more before that, the market was in a downtrend, right? So I wasn't really sure because what I had planned on that day was that the market would come here, take resistance, and then fall, creating a lower high. But the market came back. First of all, it had a huge gap up, came above this level, and then continued the rally. So I wasn't really sure on which side I should take a bias in. So I was completely neutral in the market. So based on that, based on my price action bias, I created scenarios. So the first scenario was when there's a gap up, if there's a gap up, wait for R1 zone to short. So that was my plan, right? Which happened actually, but let's get into that a little after this, after discussing the scenarios. So the initial plan was once the market had a gap up, wait for R1 zone, which is this zone, and then short the market. That was my plan one. The next plan was gap down, let it break gray zone and pivot to go short. So my plan was if it breaks this level, so let's say the market opens somewhere here and it breaks this level, once the moment it breaks this level, I'll take a target till S1, so go short in the market. So that was my second plan. My third plan was to, if there's a huge gap down, wait for S1 zone to go long. So my next plan was if there's a huge gap down, let's say around this level, I'll wait for this zone and then go long. So these were my plans. So let's get into what happened on that day. All right, so as I said, the first plan got executed. So wait for R1 zone to go short when there's a gap up. So the market gapped up, gave a huge bullish candle first, but then it gave like a bearish candle with a rejection on top over here. So I got confident that we can go short now. So let's go check my orders. So we took our first trade on 924, which is here. So basically, gave a, once there was a bearish candle here, I waited for the next candle because there could be a reversal towards the top. But it gave like a neutral candle and sort of a rejection. So I took my trade when this candle sort of closed. So the first trade which executed was at 925. So when this candle closed, and then the market consolidated for a bit. And do you guys know how I trade? If you guys watch the trade review videos, I usually add to my position. So the next quantity when I added was 946. So which was here when this candle came, when this bearish candle came and it broke this minor support here. So I added my next set of quantities here, but the market reversed, gave like a sideways move for a while, and then it broke down. So our trade went as per our plan. But if you guys can see here, so this was the strike price I took initially, right? 72,100. So I shorted 72,100. But if you guys can see here, there are two levels which marked. So once the market broke down and I was in good profits, I entered a new trade, which was around 1143. So 1143 is here. So the reason was because the market was very bearish, right? So once this breakdown came, the market, I thought first it'll take support and then it'll stay sideways here for the entire day. But it took support, created a sort of lower high, and then again broke down and came inside this level. So that's when I was like, if it stays in this level, I can short another option of 71,900, right? And then I can collect that premium too. So we entered the trade when the premium was around, I think, 93 rupees. So that was a good premium to enter in. So we entered around 1143, and then the market basically was sideways the entire time until, so I usually exit my trades around 320, right before the market closes. So the market was pretty sideways, sort of in this region the entire time. But once it reached this level, or the second gray zone, the market bounced in about, so when it reached this level around 215, and the market came to back to our level around 3.5. So in about like half an hour, the market jumped this much. So this was a very good trade, but we still managed to book around 1 lakh. Why? Because I always have this concept of trailing my stop loss. So the moment I reach a certain profit, I trail my stop loss. That was another reason for entering this trade actually, because when I entered that trade, I was in around 95K profit from the first trade. So since my trailing stop loss was around the stop loss I usually take, which is around 40, which is around 1% of my capital. Once I trailed my profit leg to that much, I took up the second trade, because even if I lose in the second trade, I sort of get a no profit, no loss day. I won't end up in negative, right? So that's why I took up the trade. And I can actually show you a few updates on that trade when I took it up. So this was the trade when I initially took it up. which it was going around 96,000. So this market slowly started going down, and this leg started giving me profit. You guys can see I entered around 94 rupees. So we were almost at 1,20,000 profit. And then we actually shot up to almost 1,60,000, but here it's 1,46,000, but we shot up to almost 1,60,000 profit. But in the end, we had to close the day around 1,09,000 because I, in fact, trailed this profit leg too because I didn't want to lose the amount. So when I reached almost, I think, 50% of the profit, I trailed it to around 9,000 rupees profit. So this was the stop loss actually hit during this time when the market boomed in around this area. So yeah, this was my trade. This was slightly a complicated trade because we entered two positions. I usually only trade while having one position. I just manage one position the entire day. But since I had nothing to lose but a lot to gain in terms of the profit, I took up the second trade too. And it did go a little bit in our direction till this move came up. But luckily, we trailed our stop loss. So always have a system to take out profits and secure your profits. We'll discuss more about the learnings from this trade in the outro. But yeah, this was one of the more complicated, interesting trade reviews in this series. So I hope you liked this video. I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. So there's just one important thing I want to say from this trade. So according to my trading style, at least, I usually take up only one trade per day and try to manage that for the entire day. But since I didn't have anything to lose from this trade, the second trade which I took up the chance of taking that trade because the first thing is, since I trailed my stop loss, I was going to make profit from the first trade, but even if the second trade gave me a loss, it would sort of end up at break even. The day would end up at break even, so that would be my worst case. But if I end up winning, I'd almost make close to 3-4% of my capital. So you guys just need to see the risk to reward here. So there is potentially no risk from this trade if I ended up trailing my stop loss, but the reward is high, right? So only take up, if you trade like me, just take up a second trade only when you know that you have very less to lose and you can potentially make a lot from that trade. So, and in fact, my suggestion is only take up a second trade only if you know that this is the case every time. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys in another video. Please subscribe to the channel if you like these kind of videos, and like the videos. Comment if you guys have any questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you.